David Littleproud stepping aside as the leader of the Nationals, saying he's buggered, he's had enough. Let's bring in our political editor, Andrew Clennell. Andrew, you broke this news for us here on Sky News. We heard there David Littleproud saying he's done all he can do and wants to do as the leader of the Nationals.
Well, you know, personally, I like David Littleproud, but what a lousy quitter, Ash. I mean, seriously, what's the legacy of David Littleproud? He split the coalition twice. That's enabled One Nation to rise up in the polls. He's let Barnaby Joyce go to One Nation. That's allowed One Nation to threaten the Liberals and Nationals existentially as the main opposition in Australia. He's never been Deputy Prime Minister, and he claims he's the best Nationals leader since Blackjack McEwen, a man who actually for a few days served as the Prime Minister, the only National to do so. And all I can say is, in terms of that is one of the most ridiculous things I've heard in Canberra. I mean, think about John Anderson, think about Tim Fischer, even Barnaby Joyce, Deputy Prime Ministers, part of substantial decisions made by governments in this country. And this bloke has the ego to think that he ranks above them, and with Blackjack McEwen, who was the famous Nationals leader during the Menzies and Holt times. I mean, I think that was embarrassing, to be honest. And I don't think there'll be a lot of love lost for David Littleproud over this, because people in politics don't like quitters. And I can also tell you that my early mail, and I have predicted this for a while, is Michael McCormack is probably the favourite, the former Deputy Prime Minister himself, to replace David Littleproud as Nationals leader, Ash.
When we look back over the last few months, I mean, David Littleproud talked about being a human punching bag. Clearly he's exhausted, absolutely shattered after the last few months. We know that there's been a lot of pressure on his leadership. He described it as a rough ride since the election.
Yeah, well, they sign up to it. They can't then go whinging about it. I mean, you know, I guess where David Littleproud differs from others is he's not being carried out in a metaphorical box, and most of them do, Ash. But, yeah, I mean, it is extraordinary news. I mean, I wasn't expecting this one. I thought he'd be rolled, if anything. And so during that press conference, I checked with some of my sources, was he losing the numbers? And I'm told no. So there's no suggestion that anyone's come to him and forced him out. I think he's just had a gutful. And the sad thing for him is I just don't think he has much of a legacy. He's left things worse than when he started. And that, as leader, is the last thing that you want.
We are expecting the Liberal leader, Angus Taylor, to hold his own news conference. We're standing by to hear from him in just the next few minutes. OK, you mentioned Michael McCormack, Andrew. Do you expect anyone else will put their hand up? And what does this mean, do you think, more broadly for the coalition going forward?
Look, it's too early to say. I mean, I'll check my phone and see if anyone's listening to me and told me anything else. That's the nature of Sky News. No, I haven't got anything. What I had speculated on after Susan Lee went, Ash, was McCormack leader, Canavan deputy, because apparently Canavan doesn't really want it. And I've been predicting that for some time, but I thought it involved a challenge. And I guess the Lee Littleproud thing was such a failure, really, that at the time there was a feeling neither of them could survive. Lee went, she was rolled, and now Littleproud joins her. And Angus Taylor, well, what's he going to say? Well, he's just going to say good luck to David Littleproud and his family, isn't he? But just another of those days in Canberra. Goodness me, we've had a few of them lately. David Littleproud came up to me for a chat. I've known him quite well. And I said, aren't you going to move to the Gold Coast at some point, when he was talking about the difference between South East Queensland and the rest of Queensland? And he goes, that's one for retirement. He said that to me just this morning, and I was asking him about his golf game. So Sunday mornings he plays golf with his wife. He's got a bit more time for that. He's also just had that regular Sunday morning breakfast TV spot. He's kind of worked assiduously to try and build his profile. And he's a reasonably young man. I mean, he'd still be in his 40s, wouldn't he? And yet he goes. I mean, it's just... I can't really buy what he just said about running for Maranoa again. I mean, at least he's not causing a by-election for the coalition, even though that's one of the safest seats in Australia, probably the safest coalition one. But what's the point in sticking around? There seems to be no point. And maybe, you know, I know he says he's buggered and he became emotional, and we know life is pretty hard for politicians. No one can deny that. But maybe he just saw the writing on the wall with this climb of One Nation. But I just want to reiterate to you, Ash, what's his legacy? Letting Barnaby Joyce go, One Nation goes up. Letting the coalition split twice, One Nation goes up. It's a sad story for David Littleproud today. Nothing to be proud of. Little to be proud of, as one commentator said of him at one point.
We can look forward to the headlines in the press tomorrow, no doubt about it. Andrew, thank you. Yes, look, an early exit for David Littleproud, just shy of 50. So, yeah, in Canberra, a pretty young man to be bowing out of the leadership role at this time. We'll see where that goes. And, of course, we will be all over the Nationals ballot now to elect a new leader for the party when that happens.